Okay, thank you very much. So, hey there, everyone. Welcome to our free IELTS writing session. My name is Nash Akthar. So, before we start, I would like to know if you can hear me. So, please type yes if you can hear me, because I think that's the most important part. Otherwise, what's the point of conducting this session if you guys can't hear me? So, please type yes if you can hear me. I would really appreciate that. And then we can start this session. Now, I see that people are joining the session. Overall, everything should be fine, but I just want to know whether you guys can hear me. Now, also remember that this is a live session, so that's why you might hear what I say maybe after 20 seconds. So there would be a short delay with the transmission, but if you can hear me, please type yes. I would really appreciate that. Okay, guys. So I think everything is clear. You all can see me, right? Okay, so just type yes, and then we'll start our session. Fine. Okay. Okay. So once again, welcome to our free IELTS writing session. My name is Nash Akthar. I'm a certified IELTS trainer. So today, as you know, we're going to focus on the structure and how to write a Band 9 essay. So, speaking more about myself, so I'm a certified IELTS trainer. I also worked as an official IELTS administrator and also a director of an official IELTS testing center. So, I've been preparing students for more than 10 years. So, like I said, I started my career as an English teacher, then became an IELTS trainer, then became an official IELTS administrator. Then, I have held different positions in the field of IELTS. And I take great pride because, you get to help people to achieve their goals. And it's always a pleasure to be a part of their successful journey. So, I hope you guys can hear me. Yes. So, once again, guys, if you have just joined, if everything is okay, please type yes. So, to make sure that you guys can hear me. And also, if you can't hear me, please refresh the browser. Okay, so make sure to refresh the browser if you can't hear me. Okay, fine. So, guys, what are we going to focus today? So, we're going to focus on IELTS writing. So, if you know, in IELTS writing, it doesn't matter whether it's academic IELTS or general IELTS, you need to write essays. So, for task two, there are different types of essays you need to deal with. So, that's what I'm going to teach you today, the types of essays. Then, how to write an introduction when you write an essay, how to write supporting paragraphs, how to write a conclusion. And at the end, guys, I'm going to show you words you should avoid in your essays because quite often students, they get this confused. So I'm going to show you what kind of words you should avoid when you write your essays. Okay, so that will be the main point as well. So now let's try to understand what is IELTS writing. Now, if you know, there are two parts, task one and task two. Now, those who are taking academic IELTS, remember, you need to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, and maps. And those who are taking general IELTS, you need to write letters like formal, semi-formal, and informal letters. So there is a huge difference between task one writing compared to academic and general. So general IELTS, you'll be writing letters, formal, semi-formal, and informal letters. Whereas for academic IELTS, you'll be writing descriptions based on a graph. Maybe it could be a bar chart, a pie chart, a line graph, maybe a description based on a map or a flow chart or maybe a process. So you do need to spend 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes and you need to spend 20 minutes effectively. But when it comes to general IELTS, you need to write essays. So it doesn't matter whether you're taking academic or general. For task two, you'll always have to write essays. So remember, the IELTS writing session is going to be for 1 hour, and I'm pretty sure you're aware of it. And you need to write not less than 250 words for task one, task two, and not less than 150 words for task one. So in case you guys have questions, make sure to type as well, so that, I can answer your questions related to IELTS and IELTS writing at the end. Okay, fine. So guys, I just hope everything is clear from my end, because everybody's okay. So once again, guys, if you can't hear me, please refresh the browser. If you can hear me, please type yes, that you can hear me. Okay, so let's try to get a bit engaged. So if you can hear me, please type yes. Would appreciate that. Fine. So guys, let's move on then. So to achieve a very high score in IELTS writing, you need to become familiar with the marking criteria. It doesn't matter how well you write. It doesn't matter whether you have a very good level. If you are not aware of the marking criteria, then it's going to be very challenging to improve your skills, because the examiner would assess your writing based on 4 criteria: task response, coherence and cohesion, grammar, and vocabulary. So always make sure that when you write your essays, that you keep in mind all 4 criteria. And by the way, criteria is a plural noun. Criterion is the singular form. That might be important. So when you write an essay for task 2, you need to keep in mind that you will be assessed based on 4 criteria. Now, that's a very important part. It's not just the vocabulary, it's not just grammar, it's not just your idea, it's everything together. So we have task response, like how well you address the task, coherence and cohesion, how logical you are, and how well you connect your ideas. Then when it comes to grammar, how accurate you are when it comes to grammar, and how often you use a variety of sentence structures skillfully. And of course, based on the topic, how well you use specific vocabulary. And also, guys, when you receive feedback, you need to receive feedback based on the marking criteria. Now, I don't know how you're preparing now, but always keep in mind that if you want to achieve a very high score in writing, when someone is checking your essays, they should provide feedback based on the marking criteria. If they don't do that, how can you improve your writing skills? Now, that's something that you all should keep in mind as well. Fine. So, my dear students, now I would like to know each one of you before we move forward. So, could you please tell me, why do you need IELTS? What is the required score? When are you planning to take the exam? Okay, so simple questions. Why do you need IELTS? Is it for immigration? Is it for higher education? Maybe you want to enter a foreign university. What is the required score? Maybe band 6.5, 7, 8. And when are you plan to take the exam? And also, guys, do we have retakers? Do we have candidates who have already taken the exam? And also, do you have specific requirements? Like, you need to achieve a 7 for writing, maybe 8 or maybe 7.5 for each section. Do you have such specific requirements? So I would really appreciate if you could let me know your plans related to IELTS. Okay. Okay, so I see that everyone is typing. So once again, just to remind the questions, why do you need IELTS? What is the required score? When I plan to take the exam? Do we have retakers, by the way? And do you have specific requirements, like maybe not less than 7 for each section, maybe not less than 7.5 for each section? So I see that for job, and it's going to be very soon. That's understood. Immigration, in a month, required score is an 8. Understood. Mm-hmm. Great. Uh-huh. So again, for higher education, and if it's immigration, where I plan to immigrate, is it a secret? Is it to Canada or to Australia? But if it's personal, if you don't want to reveal that, then it's okay. Don't bother. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I see that overall seven master's degree and seven immigration, no fixed date. Understood. Fine. Fine. Great, guys. Great. So thanks for sharing. So once again, remember that we have understood that at the examiner would assess your writing based on four criteria. We have task response, coherence and cohesion, grammar, and vocabulary. So we need to make sure that when we write an essay, we meet all the requirements based on all four criteria. Now, that's what we're going to learn today. Now, guys, if you know, writing is the most challenging section. It is the most challenging section. And quite often, students, they struggle to achieve their required score in writing. And that's why they end up taking the IELTS exam not once, not twice, but several times, only because they fail to achieve their required score in writing. And do you know that these are the common mistakes why they fail to achieve their required score? Number one, poor structuring. Number two, poorly developing their ideas. Number three, informal style of writing. Number four, poor grammar and sentence skills. Now, I'm being very honest. If you work on these areas, you can definitely achieve a very high score based on that marking criteria. So quite often, students, they structure their essays poorly. And quite often, they fail to develop their ideas effectively and in a very logical manner. And quite often, students, they follow an informal style of writing. And of course, they struggle with grammar. Now, quite often, I see the students from Sri Lanka, they are quite fluent, but they are not aware of certain grammar rules, like using complex structures, when to use conditionals, how to use a variety of tenses effectively. Because, we have been preparing so many students from Sri Lanka. And I think these are the common issues because maybe you do use English at work in your professional life, but grammar is not an important part. But in IELTS, both in speaking and writing, you'll be assessed based on grammar as well. So that's why it's very important to enhance your grammar skills, to be accurate with sentence structures, tenses, conditionals, articles. And when it comes to writing, you also need to be cautious with your punctuation rules because these are the areas, even the ones who are fluent, fail at the exam and they don't achieve the required score. So today's lesson, from now onwards, please listen to me carefully because what I'm going to reveal now, I can guarantee you will also not find it on YouTube. So try to listen to each and every point carefully. If you can, take down some notes. Unfortunately, we won't be sharing the recording today. So just guys, try to take down some notes. And at the end of our session, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So let's start now. Now, when we look at task 2 essays, there are 4 types. And remember, today we're going to focus on task 2 writing. So when it comes to task 2 essays, there are 4 types. We have reason solution essays, discussion essays, argument essays, and 2-question essays. So these are the 4 types you will have. So at the exam, you should be at a level when you read the essay question, you should clearly understand what type it is, whether it's a reason solution essay, whether it's a discussion essay, whether it's an argument essay, or whether it's a 2-question essay. So I'm going to show you some examples related to these 4 types. And remember, the structure differs for each and every type. Now, that's why in our courses, in our IELTS Expert course, in our IELTS Express course, even in our writing course, we teach our students step by step how they should structure their essays for all four types. Because, you can't just learn how to write an opinion essay. You can't just learn how to write a discussion essay. You need to become familiar with all four types. That's the only way you can work your way towards achieving a very high score. Now, guys, let's try to become familiar with each and every essay type. So the first one is reason solution essays. Look at the first example. It says, it is often thought that the increase in juvenile crime can be attributed to violence in the media. What do you think is the reason for the growth in the rate of juvenile crime? What solutions can you offer to deal with this situation? So as you can see, in this essay question, they are asking what are the reasons for juvenile crime and what solutions can you suggest? And if you look at the second one, it says, today we are faced with many problems with our environment, and global warming is one of the biggest threats. What causes global warming? What solutions are there to this problem? So once again, we need to kind of mention the reasons and relevant solutions. So when you write your introduction, you need to address the task. You should show the examiner that you have understood the essay type and that you will be discussing the reasons and relevant solutions. And for each supporting paragraph, you can have one reason with relevant examples and then suggest a solution for that reason with relevant examples. The second paragraph will be the second reason related to this topic, to this situation. Then you give a relevant solution. But every point should be developed with reasons and examples. So please keep that in mind. So guys, today I'm going to show you how you should write a reason solution essay. And what I'm going to share there would be useful for any type of essay question. But of course, there are other types as well. Now, that's what we're going to focus now. Now, the next type, guys, is discussion essays. Now, you should understand it by the name itself, discuss. You have to discuss two viewpoints or two sides. Now, look at the first example. It says, in many Western countries, there is an increasing number of couples choosing to have no children. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of couples having no children. Look at the second one. It says, some people think that space exploration is a waste of resources, while others think that it is essential for mankind to continue to explore the universe in which we live. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. So as you can see, the first one, guys, we have to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. In the second one, we need to discuss both views, and at the end, we are asked to give our opinion. So in both these types, you need to discuss two viewpoints, two different sides. So you're not supposed to give reasons or solutions. You're not supposed to give your opinion at the beginning or argue about a viewpoint. You just need to discuss two viewpoints. So the approach is different. The structure is different. Now, that's something that you all should learn in the future. The next one is argument essays. Now, try to understand this type with the name itself. It's an argument essay. That means you argue. Why? You might wonder. Look at the first one. It says, the prevention of health problems and illness is more important than treatment and medicine. Government funding should reflect this. To what extent do you agree? Now, you see, they ask you, to what extent do you agree? Maybe you can agree completely. Maybe you can agree partly. Maybe you can disagree completely. So overall, it becomes an argument. Look at the second one. It says, in many countries, it is common for families to own and run their own business. Some people think this is the best way to run a business, while others consider this a potential source of problems. What is your opinion? Now, here you see they're asking for your opinion, And your opinion is going to be based on what others think. So again, it becomes an argument because there are no two sides here to discuss. So either you support their opinion or you oppose their opinion. So these types become an argument essay. So the approach is very different. So always remember, right from the beginning, you need to reflect your viewpoint. That's why when you write your introduction, you should share your opinion, and then the whole essay should reflect your opinion. Now, that's argument essay. It's pretty common. It's very common. So you do need to become familiar with it. Then the last one is a type that students become a bit confused at the exam. We call it as the two-question essays. So in an essay question, there will be 2 points for you to address. Look at the first one. It says, advanced technology has brought many beneficial changes to the world. However, some old people today struggle with the use of technologies such as mobile phones and the internet. How can the elderly benefit from using advanced technologies? How can the elderly be encouraged to use consumer electronics more often? You see, how can the elderly benefit and how can we encourage them? So, first paragraph will be how will the elderly people or how will the senior citizens, how would they benefit? And the second one, you just say how we can encourage them to use consumer electronics more often. Now look at the second one. There is more and more outrage and anger common in society today. Why is this the reason? And is this a positive or a negative development? So here in the first paragraph, when you write in your first supporting paragraph, you should mention why. In your second supporting paragraph, you need to state whether it's a positive or a negative thing. In your introduction, you need to state whether it's a positive or a negative thing, whether it's a positive or a negative thing. And also, you need to mention what will be discussed in your first supporting paragraph, like what are the reasons. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So once you become familiar with the first three types, reason, solution, opinion, and discussion, you'll be able to manage with two-question essays too, because the structure you learn with the first three types could be mixed when you write a two-question essay. So that's what you all need to keep in mind. Fine, guys. Now let me check your knowledge because I shared so many points, right? And let's make it a bit interactive. Could you please answer these questions? You just need to type true or false. It's not reading, by the way, but I want to know how much you are aware of IELTS writing. So can you tell me whether these statements are true or false? Now I'm going to give you some time. Look at A. It says, your essay should have a minimum of 4 clearly defined paragraphs, an introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. Is this true or false? What do you think? The second one says, each supporting paragraph should not focus on a single clear argument and be developed with relevant reasons and examples. Is it true or false? See, in your conclusion, restate the main points. Is it important? And the fourth one says the introduction should serve as the roadmap in your essay, indicating what the reader can expect. Now, I want everyone to tell me whether these statements are true or false. Now, type A, true or false. B, is it true or false? C, is it true or false? D, is it true or false? These are very important points, guys, because quite often we feel like it's just about writing an essay, expressing our thoughts. But, there are so many factors involved. It's not difficult. The first stage is to learn all of them. And then gradually, we need to practice. And the third point is to receive constructive feedback. So I want everyone to get involved. What do you think? Are these statements true or false? Some of them could be true. Some of them could be false. So I would like to know it from you all. I see the answers coming. Well done. Mm-hmm. Great. So I see that Hansika Herath has typed, waiting for the others as well. And then we can discuss it and then we can move forward. Now, the first one is great. The first one is your essay should have a minimum of 4 clearly defined paragraphs, an introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. Now, that is true. When the examiner reads your essay, he or she would see if there are 4 defined paragraphs, an introduction, then actually whether there are supporting paragraphs and a conclusion. Then look at B. It says each supporting paragraph should not focus on a single clear argument and be developed with relevant reasons and examples. It's not true. Each paragraph should have a clear argument. That means your topic sentence or your first sentence of that supporting paragraph should reflect the whole paragraph itself. That means when the examiner reads the topic sentence, he would like to see whether that whole paragraph reflects the topic sentence. Then the third one is your conclusion. In your conclusion, make sure to restate the main points. Now, that's an important part as well. And finally, guys, D, the introduction should serve as the roadmap in your essay, indicating what the reader can expect. So, your introduction, guys, is a very important paragraph, by the way, because it has to show the examiner what exactly your whole essay should look like. Now, if it's an opinion essay, that's why it's so important to state your opinion. If it's a reason solution essay, you should show the examiner that you're going to mention reasons related to that topic and relevant solutions. If it's a discussion essay, you need to show the examiner that you'll be discussing 2 viewpoints. And if the opinion is needed, you can give your opinion there. Maybe you can give the opinion at the end. That's a different topic we'll discuss later. But the thing is, your introduction should be like a roadmap. Quite often, students, they fail to structure a nice introduction, and that's why they fail to achieve a very high score. So make sure how to structure your introduction properly, and that's what we're going to learn today. So I mentioned we are going to focus on reason solution essays. So how to write a reason solution essay today. And whatever I teach you today would be relevant to a certain extent with other types as well. Because remember, we have 4 types, but what we're going to learn today would be useful for other 3 types of essays as well. So I'm going to show you how you should brainstorm ideas, how to write a nice introduction, how to develop your paragraph, and how to use a good range of vocabulary. Okay, so let's start now. So at the exam, remember, this is how a reason solution essay would look like. We've already seen 2, but this is the third one. Look, it says the crime rate in most countries is often higher in urban areas than in rural areas. Why do you think that is? What can be done to reduce the crime rate in urban areas? So the crime rate in most countries is often higher in urban areas than in rural areas. Why do you think that is? What's the reason? And what can be done to reduce the crime rate in urban areas? Okay, so now we're going to focus on this question type. So guys, before you write an essay, you need to spend 10 minutes on planning. Now remember, for task 2, you have 40 minutes. Now write this down. You have 40 minutes. Spend 10 minutes on planning. Spend 25 minutes on writing your essay and 5 minutes on checking. If you don't spend 10 minutes properly on planning, believe me, you will never write a very good essay within 40 minutes. So you'll not have enough time. So always make sure to spend 10 minutes on planning, 25 minutes on writing, and make sure you have 5 minutes on checking. Okay? So the first 10 minutes, I'm going to show you what you should do. Number 1, you need to read and understand the question. So when you encounter an essay question, it's crucial to identify three components. When you read an essay question, you need to identify three components. They are topic, the viewpoint, and the task. So it doesn't matter which essay type it is. It could be an opinion essay, it could be a discussion essay, it could be a reason solution essay, it could be a two-question essay. Doesn't matter. You need to read and identify three components. Now, we're going to focus on this essay question, which is about crime rates are higher in urban areas than rural areas. What are the reasons? What are the solutions? Right? Now, based on that, this is how the topic would be. So you know that the topic is crime rate, urban versus rural. The viewpoint, the crime rate is higher in urban areas than in rural areas. And the task is to analyze the reasons for this trend and suggest solutions. Okay, so the topic is crime rate, urban versus rural. And what is the viewpoint? The viewpoint is the statement of the question. And it says crime rate is higher in urban areas than in rural areas. But what is the task? The task is to analyze the reasons for this trend and suggest solutions. Once you identify these three components, my dear students, listen to me carefully. Once you identify these three components, for the topic, you'll be able to brainstorm specific vocabulary. You can think about words related to urban versus rural and also crime. Once you understand the viewpoint, like the crime rate is higher in urban areas than in rural areas, it will help you to come up with relevant points and solutions. And then, my dear students, listen to me carefully. Once you understand the task, you know how you should write your essay. Now, this is a reason solution essay. So this will give you a clear idea that you should come up with relevant paragraphs, like a paragraph with a reason and a solution, and another paragraph with a reason and a solution. So that would be the correct approach. So always remember to identify three components when you read an essay question: the topic, the viewpoint, and the task itself. Now, once you understand that, it becomes really easy to write an introduction. So now let's see how we should write an introduction for this type, for a reason solution essay. And once again, remember the question. It says, the crime rate in most countries is often higher in urban areas than in rural areas. Why do you think that is? What can be done to reduce the crime rate in urban areas? Now, based on that, look at the introduction. Now, you can write an introduction with a background sentence, something about crime in urban areas versus rural areas. For example, you can say, in today's world, the issue of crime in geographical distribution remains a topic of significant concern, like how crime is spread. Then come to the topic and make it more specific. Say, urban regions frequently experience higher crime rates than rural counterparts. Then the task is to analyze the reasons and the solutions. So you can mention, this essay aims to analyze factors contributing to higher urban crime rates and propose solutions. Now, that's the part. That's how you write an introduction. So that's the approach. Now, I'm going to show you how a Band 9 introduction should look like. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad introduction. It's okay. It addresses the task. But if you want to achieve like a very high score, you also need to mention what reasons you will discuss in your supporting paragraph, or maybe what reasons and solutions you would discuss in your supporting paragraphs. Now, that's a tricky part because your introduction should not be too long. So you have to do it in a very concise manner. So a very good introduction should look like the following with an outline sentence. Look, it says, in today's world, the issue of crime and its geographical distribution remains a topic of significant concern, particularly when comparing urban and rural areas. It is an observable trend that urban regions frequently experience higher crime rates than the rural counterparts. This essay aims to analyze the underlying factors contributing to the heightened levels of criminal activity in urban areas. Furthermore, it will propose targeted solutions to effectively reduce the urban crime rate, thereby enhancing safety and quality of life in these densely populated regions. So that's a very nice introduction because that addresses the task properly. It shows what exactly you will discuss in your supporting paragraphs. So once again, let me repeat. I know that I'm kind of repeating it over and over. When you read an essay question, try to understand the topic, try to understand the viewpoint, what exactly they're saying, try to identify the task. And based on that, start with a background sentence, something related to the topic. You can say crime is becoming more prominent nowadays than before. Detailed background sentence, you can mention that, it is more visible in urban areas than in remote regions. And then mention the purpose. The aim of this essay is to analyze relevant reasons with solutions. That's it. Or you can mention the exact reasons in like a couple of words and say that you will suggest solutions. So I hope it's clear, guys. And then when you write your supporting paragraphs, you need to develop your supporting paragraphs based on the reasons you mentioned in your introduction, right? And relevant solutions. And then when you write your conclusion, you need to restate those points with relevant solutions. Now, that's the correct approach. Now, quite often, even the ones who have a very good level, even I've seen English teachers, when they take this exam, they tend to overlook this point. They don't pay much attention to this point, and they don't achieve a very high score. Now, have you seen like English teachers achieving a 7 for IELTS writing? Now, that really surprises me. What's the reason? What could be the reason? Do you think that they are using poor vocabulary? Do you think that they made too many grammar mistakes? Nobody's perfect, by the way. But do you think that they really made too many mistakes? No. It's poor structuring. Would you believe that only a 7% they mention an outline sentence or the main points that will be discussed in their essays? Quite often, if you check many model essays online, they just say this essay will discuss the reasons and suggest solution. Now, that's lame. That's not the right approach. You need to write an introduction, which would be like a roadmap. Keep that word in mind. It would be like a roadmap that would reflect the entire essay. Fine. So once again, guys, I'm going to have a Q&A session at the end. So in case you have questions, please type them, and I'll answer those questions at the end. Now, once you write, after writing your introduction, we should start the brainstorming process. Like, what solutions? What are the reasons? Right? And then, for example, what examples can you think of? Now, that's the next part. So quite often students tell me, like, Nash, I understand the question, or I've understood the question, but I just don't know what to write. I don't know how to brainstorm. Now, brainstorming comes only if you question. Now, for example, here we have urban versus rural. Now, the question is, what makes urban areas different from rural areas in terms of crime rate? Now, guys, I want y'all to get together with me and type your answers. Why do you think crime rate is higher in urban areas than in rural areas? Why do we see many criminal incidents in a big city than in a small town? Now, think like that. What are the reasons? Now, to think like that, I'll just give you a hint. No, maybe I'll not. Why do you think it happens? So, another step is to visualize. Visualize. Living in a big city. What do you see? Living in a small town. What do you see? So, once again, the main question is, why do we see so many criminals or incidents in a big city than in a smaller town? Okay, so I'm waiting for your answers. Just brainstorm. What could be the reason? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So I see that people are typing. Well done. And I'll get back to your answers. Yeah. One is like, busy environment versus calm, highly populated. Well done. You see, high population density. And it is, yeah, quite tense. Yeah. A lot of hustle and bustle, highly populated. And also, don't you agree? There is an economic diversity, right? So, differ. For example, there are uh, extremely rich people and also those who are extremely poor. And this difference, this gap can also be a contributing factor. Well done. Very good. Very good. Very good. And I love the way you guys are typing. I see so many answers coming: overcrowding, financial issues, less social support. Well done. Very good. Very good. Yes. Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, remember that since it's a live session, right? The streaming could delay a bit. That's why I might see your answers a bit later. Well done. Very good. Levels of money. So well done. So I think that what I have on screen is almost the same with what you guys have written. So that's great. That's great. So that's the thinking process. That is the thinking process. Then the next one, guys, the next one is think about possible reasons for higher crime rates in urban areas. So economic disparity, overcrowding, lack of education, substance abuse without judgment. So what I want to say is don't just think about two reasons, which would be your two supporting paragraphs. Try to think about four reasons. Push yourself. Brainstorm for more idea. Brainstorm ideas and brainstorm as much as you can, and then come up with many ideas and choose the correct ones or the most appropriate ones. So, for example, it could be economic disparity, once again, overcrowding, lack of education, substance abuse without judgment. And based on that, guys, choose two points which are the most appropriate for you to develop your ideas. So I would go with these two. And I think that's what you all mentioned: economic disparity and unemployment, overcrowding, and poor urban planning. Okay, so I'm going to take these 2 points as the reasons why we can witness more crime rate in urban areas than in villages or in rural areas. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Now, based on that, I would think about solutions. So, for example, if we find economic disparity, that means there are people without jobs, so they don't have an income. So the solution would be to create job opportunities. So maybe the government should introduce job creation programs. If the cities are overcrowded, then there should be urban redevelopment or proper urban planning, right? So think about the solution for those appropriate issues, for the reasons that you've mentioned. Now, after that, evaluate these solutions based on feasibility and direct impact. So we choose economic disparity, economic development programs, overcrowding, urban redevelopment initiatives. And then, guys, you need to also come up with your examples. Now, that I'm going to show you in your supporting paragraph. So you also need to come up with your relevant examples to develop it. So always make sure when you come up with your solutions for relevant reasons, just question a bit like, do the solutions align with the reasons? Now, in our case, yes, they directly address the economic and planning issues identified. So once you have understood that, you can start with your first supporting paragraph. So by the way, guys, I'm going to show you the examples for it, how you should develop it. So let's look at it now. So always develop your first supporting paragraph with a clear topic sentence. Now here it says, one of the primary reasons for high crime rates in urban areas is the significant economic disparity and unemployment. You see, one of the primary reasons, now that's the way you should start your paragraph. One of the primary reasons for higher crime rates in urban areas is the significant economic disparity and unemployment. Now, once the examiner reads your first sentence, he would expect the whole paragraph to be developed based on this. Then, the second sentence would be enhancing it with relevant reasons. Like in cities, the gap between the wealthy and the poor is often stark, like remarkable, leading to employment struggles. This explains why economic disparity affects crime rate. So before you go with your example, explain it further, develop that habit. And after that, provide evidence. A study in New York found higher theft and vandalism in areas with high unemployment. Now, guys, I'm not saying you should kind of, think about New York. Maybe you can speak about your home city, maybe the capital of your country, right? Think about your own country. I'm pretty sure the examples are almost the same, right? So a study in New York found higher theft and vandalism in areas with high unemployment. Now, this example makes it more meaningful. So once again, you introduce the reason, explain it, then give an example to prove it, and then you come up with a solution. So transition to the solution with a sentence like, addressing this economic divide is crucial in reducing urban crime rates. So you say, addressing this economic divide is crucial in reducing urban crime rates. Then economic development and job creation programs can be effective. And then we mentioned these programs provide training and incentivize local hiring. So we can introduce a program. Economic development and job creation programs can be effective, and these programs provide training and incentivize local hiring. So I'm not showing the sentences of my supporting paragraph. I'm just showing how I would structure, and based on that, I would also write a conclusion sentence like, such initiatives not only address economic crimes, but also promote a more stable community. So whenever we mention the solution, guys, we should also mention the positive outcome, what could be expected. So this wraps up the paragraph by summarizing the solution's impact. Now, based on that, this is how our first supporting paragraph would look like. You see, it says, one of the primary reasons for higher crime rates in urban areas is the significant economic disparity and unemployment. In cities, the gap between the wealthy and the poor is often stark, with many individuals struggling to find stable employment. For instance, example, a study in a city. Now, as I said, it doesn't have to be New York. It could be Colombo. It could be Delhi. It could be Karachi. It could be London, right? It could be Melbourne. Doesn't matter, right? But in almost all the big cities, this is quite common. And even in Melbourne, there are people unemployed. Even in Dubai, there are people, they move to Dubai and they can't find a job, and they do turn to illegal ways of earning money. Anyway, so a study in, let's say, in New York showed that neighborhoods with high unemployment rates experienced notably more instances of theft and vandalism. Addressing this economic divide is crucial in reducing urban crime rates. One effective approach is the implementation of economic development and job creation programs. These programs, by providing vocational training and incentivizing local business to hire from within the community, offer both immediate and long-term employment opportunities. Such initiatives not only tackle the root cause of economic-driven crimes, but also foster a more stable and prosperous urban community. Now, what I'm trying to show you all here is that whenever you come up with your reason, explain it further, then give an example, then introduce the solution, okay, and explain it further. But here it says, one effective approach is the implementation of economic development and job creation programs. These programs, by providing vocational training and incentivizing local business to hire from within the community, offer both immediate and long-term employment opportunities. So what will be the outcome? What would be the positive outcome? So think about this approach for reason solution essays, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to cope with it. Now let's look at the second supporting paragraph. Now this paragraph will address another key reason for higher urban crime rates. So the second reason was poor urban planning. So a significant factor contributing to higher urban crime rate is overcrowding and poor urban planning. That's the topic sentence. Then we explain it, like densely populated cities often have inadequate living spaces, leading to increased tensions and crimes, because maybe they want to steal something, so it's quite common. Then provide supporting evidence. Research shows that petty crimes like pickpocketing are higher in densely populated areas, right? Like research shows. Now, if you don't want to mention a particular city or a particular area, you can just go based on research. Now, here, guys, the examiner is not checking your knowledge. In IELTS, they want to see how well you can develop, how well you can elaborate. Now, that's the main approach here. Then link the problem to a solution. To address these issues, urban redevelopment is essential. And then urban redevelopment and community engagement are key. This includes affordable housing and revitalizing neighborhoods. So kind of develop your points accordingly, and always remember, doesn't matter which essay type, always have a concluding sentence. Like, these measures not only improve urban space, but also foster community, reducing crime. So based on that, we can write our second supporting paragraph the following way. Another significant factor contributing to higher crime rates in urban areas is the issue of overcrowding and poor urban planning. Densely populated city environments often suffer from inadequate living spaces and a lack of sufficient public areas, which can which can make things worse. Tensions and criminal activities. Research indicates that in densely populated urban areas, the rate of petty crimes like pickpocketing and vandalism is markedly higher compared to less crowded areas. To mitigate these challenges, a focus on urban redevelopment is essential. Urban redevelopment and community engagement initiatives present a viable solution to this problem. These initiatives can include developing affordable housing, revitalizing neglected neighborhoods, and creating green spaces, thereby reducing the strain caused by overcrowding. Through these measures, not only is the urban space better utilized, but a sense of community and belonging is fostered, significantly deterring crime. So once again, guys, you come up with your second point, but when you develop your second supporting paragraph, show that it's the second reason. To make it more clear for you all, just say another significant factor contributing to higher crime rates, right? Then explain it. Come up with an example. Another point I would like to highlight here, guys, is using organizing phrases. Now, if you look at this paragraph, not only we have used linkers, but some words to connect it. Like, for example, let me show you. You see, to mitigate these challenges, or to overcome these challenges, or the best way to address these issues, or maybe this issue. So if you use like this issue, these challenges, this would connect your ideas. Don't you agree? And that is something that the examiner is going to look for. And if you can do that, that would also help you to achieve a very high score. So do keep that in mind. So now, what did we learn from supporting paragraphs today? Now, I know that it's too much information. Usually we have a step-by-step approach. Now, that's what we do in our IELTS expert course. We teach our students, first of all, how to structure sentences, how to develop ideas. That's a separate lesson. Then how to structure paragraphs. That's a separate lesson. How to write an introduction, how to paraphrase, how to make our writing style formal. That's why we have 2 stages in our writing program. Stage 1, we learn the essential skills. Stage 2, we focus on writing essays. But today, it's a lesson where I want to show you all the key points. But remember, when you structure your paragraphs, always have a clear point, and based on that, develop your supporting paragraphs. So now, guys, I would like to share common mistakes in supporting paragraphs that you should avoid. Number one, diving straight into urban planning details. So, for example, guys, don't go into solutions immediately. Always use sentences like, another significant factor contributing to higher crime rates in urban areas is the issue of overcrowding and poor urban planning. So, always make sure that the start of the paragraph is broad, but then the paragraph becomes more specific with examples. Quite often, students, they either don't give examples or they just start with a very specific point with an example itself, and they tend to lose marks a lot. Now, the second point, guys, is insufficient explanation or development. Now, for example, you can't just say overcrowding leads to crime, but explain it further, like we saw in our supporting paragraphs. Like, densely populated city environments often suffer from inadequate living spaces, increasing tensions and crime. Or, guys, lack of evidence or examples. Now, quite often, students achieve a very low score because they don't give proper examples. Examples should be based on your experience, by the way. It should be based on a research that you've known. Does this research should be really can it be fake? Well, I wouldn't say fake, but you can improvise a bit. But once again, remember, it's not about your knowledge. It's about how you express your thoughts, right? So research indicates that densely populated areas have higher rates of petty crimes like pickpocketing. And that's a nice way of expressing too. Then the fourth one is poor transition between reason and solution. Don't jump abruptly to solutions, but whenever you write your solution, you can say, to mitigate these challenges. You see, I already mentioned that. Use organizing words. You can say, the best way to overcome these challenges or these issues. A focus on so you see, to mitigate, or the best solution, right? Or the best way to tackle this issue. Now, use such words. This way, your ideas will be well connected. Now, that's cohesion. Then, guys, not detailing how a solution addresses the reason. So, always mention the positive outcome when you suggest certain solutions. This includes developing affordable housing and revitalizing neighborhoods, reducing overcrowding. So, once again, we are looking at reason solution essays. When you give a solution, if you can give some examples, maybe for example, let's say proper urban planning. And whenever we speak about proper urban planning, we can take Singapore as a very good example, right? And what it has led to. So in our countries, if they implement the same approach, what could be expected? So whenever you give a solution, think about the positive outcome as well. So that's an important aspect. And then, guys, I've already mentioned that, the concluding sentence. So you mentioned the positive outcome, and you can say, through these measures, urban spaces are better utilized, fostering community and deterring crime. And another point I want to mention is, even in your opinion essays, even in your discussion essays, even in your reason solution, which we have here, or 2-question essays, every paragraph should have a clear topic sentence, and at the same time, you should have a nice sentence to conclude those main points that you discussed. If you can do that, that would be a great paragraph. Now, these are the things the examiners look for. Unfortunately, you don't find all these requirements met online when you watch YouTube videos or when you check some essays. And nowadays, guys, it's becoming a joke, because I know a lady who needs aid for every section. And for the past 2 months, she has been working with AI. So there is a platform. It's not ChatGPT, by the way, and never get the idea of ChatGPT, because it's a disaster. But she has been getting her essays checked online. And the best part is, she spends $20 to get one essay checked. And the best part is, she didn't know what she was doing. So the AI checks her essay, and it just gave wrong feedback. And when I checked her essay, I understood that, she's a 7. And to achieve an 8, quite often it's poorly structured paragraphs. That's the main reason. So what I'm trying to say is that quite often people don't pay attention to these things. They only think about advanced vocabulary, but the structural part is crucial. It's not like writing a newspaper article. It's not like writing a story. These are the ways you would write a report, or maybe a report based on an investigation. You see, it should have an argument, a research like evidence, conclusion. Think on those lines. So when you write an essay, it's the same. And when you structure your paragraphs, the approach should be the same. Fine. So how to write a conclusion? Now, that's a very important part. And always make sure you have enough time to write a very good conclusion. So when you write a conclusion, guys, I just want to mention that you need to restate the points. It could be the reasons, or it could be the solutions. It doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to mention the reasons and the solutions. It's up to you. But you do need to summarize those points. You can't just say, like, in conclusion, living in an urban area can have many issues, but if we suggest solutions, everything would be fine. No. What is that? So that doesn't make much sense, because those are like templates that you get to see. And that's how many teachers, they teach, but that's not the correct approach. So when you write a conclusion, you need to summarize the key points. Like, in summary, this essay has highlighted the issues of economic disparity and overcrowding as key contributors to higher crime rates in urban areas. You see? Now, the best writer would be able to summarize those two reasons in one sentence. And that's what we've done here. We said, in summary, this essay has highlighted the issues of economic disparity and overcrowding as key contributors to higher crime rates in urban areas, right? Well, those were the points. And don't you see, it gets repeated, but that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Then, guys, summarize the proposed solution if you want. The essay proposed solutions like economic development programs and urban development initiatives. Or, guys, like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be the solutions. You don't have to summarize it. You can say, by tackling these issues with relevant solutions or with appropriate solutions, we can expect a better future living in a big city. Simple as that. Then include a statement of consequences. However, without prompt implementation of these measures, urban areas may face escalating crime rates. Or you can say, if these measures are implemented, living in an urban area could be more peaceful. So you can think both lines. You can either mention what would happen if they don't take measures, or what will happen if they take measures. Now, that's how your thought process should be. Okay? So therefore, immediate action is essential to ensure safer and more prosperous urban communities. So you can actually write, once again, restate the points, maybe the reasons, maybe the solutions, but here better to mention the reasons, restate them, mention what kind of solutions would be useful, and then why they need to act fast, why they need to take these necessary measures. Now, that's the correct way. Now, based on that, guys, I would like to show what kind of words we should use in our writing. So if you have a pen and a paper, write it down, because we're going to do some task as well. Okay? So before we do that, let's summarize. Remember, introduction. Before you write the introduction, read the essay question and identify 3 components: topic, viewpoint, and the question. Then when you write your introduction, there are 3 components you need to keep in mind. Your background sentence, that is something about the topic. In our essay question, it was crime rate, urban versus rural. So you can speak about crime rate in general. Then the viewpoint was that crime rate is higher in urban areas than in rural areas. Rephrase that viewpoint and let that be your second sentence. Then you can actually mention what will be discussed. Here it's your thesis. You understand the reasons and the solutions. Then think about appropriate reasons. Now, I've already mentioned, come up with 4 reasons, and out of those 4 reasons, choose the best 2. Then based on that, think about solutions. Once you do that, try to think about why these reasons are so crucial to this issue. Why do you think they are the main contributing factors? Now, when you think like that, visualize. See where you can see this, in which city, in which country. Maybe you must have heard somewhere. So try to think like that. Then think about relevant solutions. You should already have that written. Then, guys, think about examples related to that. Or, for example, how these measures would be effective to that particular issue. Now, once you plan like that, writing an essay should not be an issue. The planning is an important part because after that, you can think about using more complex structures, like not only, but also, but I'm not going to confuse you all today. That's what I want to share. Then, guys, when you write your conclusion, restate the key points. If you do these things, believe me, you can gradually develop towards achieving a very high score. Fine. So, guys, once again, if you have questions, please type. But now make sure you have a pen and a paper because I don't share the recordings. That's my policy because in a lot of work here. So please write down these words. They can be crucial when you write any essay. Okay, so let's start slowly. So always remember, instead of the word problem, you can use the word issue. Like, the problem of higher crime rates, avoid using that. You can use the word issue, the issue of higher crime rates. Now, I have a question for y'all. Can you give me more synonyms or other words we can use instead of problem? Because this is a word that gets repeated quite often. We tend to use more often. So can you give me synonyms related to problem? What other words can we use instead of problem? Issue is one word. What else? Now, I want everyone to get involved. Uh-huh. Great. So issue is one word. What else? What other words can we use instead of problem? What do you think? Now, we can use the word obstacle, right? We can use the word obstacle. It's a nice word. It's quite uncommon. Yes, challenge is a great word. Challenge, issue, and the word concern. Concern, like, you're worried. It's a concern. We can also use the word concern. Now, do you see, guys, even in a professional conversation, the words we use would define our character. Imagine in a professional meeting, if you say, John, I went through your proposal and I have some problems that I would like to discuss that may not sound great. But if you say, I have certain concerns which I would like to raise, that might sound great. So make sure to use the appropriate word, but well done. Challenge, obstacle, concern, right? Issue, we've already discussed. Certain shortcomings can be used here as well. Well done. Very good. The next one is big, large versus significant. So instead of big and large, you can say significant, right? Maybe depending on the context, enormous, huge, and so on, right? But in this context, a significant reason, a prominent reason, you can also use the word prominent here, that also would be appropriate. Then, guys, the next one is help versus mitigate. So I love this word, and quite often examiners, they appreciate this word. So instead of saying to reduce the impact, to help, you can use the word mitigate. So, for example, programs that help reduce crime, programs that mitigate crime can be used here. The next one is bad. You can use adverse, like bad effects on the economy, adverse impacts on the economy. Or you can also use the word detrimental, detrimental, detrimental. Okay, maybe harmful impacts, detrimental, adverse would sound even better. Okay, then the next one, guys, is important versus imperative. Like imperative is a stronger choice than important. Like, it is important to act. It is imperative to act. It is imperative to act. Can you give me more synonyms related to important? I'm pretty sure we tend to discuss this quite often. And I want at least 4 expressions related to important now. What are they? Okay. So important, imperative. What other words we can use? We can say significant, crucial, vital, pivotal, paramount. Once again, significant, crucial, vital, pivotal, paramount. I see the answers. Well done. Very good. Very good. Well done. Yes. Great. Great. And many, much versus numerous. Instead of saying many problems in urban areas, we can say numerous issues in urban areas. Numerous issues in urban areas. We can use numerous instead of many. So implement over use. So instead of saying use, you can say implement, like use this solution, implement these solutions, or introduce these solutions would be better than use. Now, all remember, now in your vocabulary list, these are the words you should avoid. Once again, bad, right? Bad, much, many. So much, many, you can use numerous. Bad, you can use detrimental, bad effects, adverse effects, right? Problem, you can use challenge, concern, right? So think about all these words. Use, instead of use, you can say implement. So this would be very useful when you write your essays, guys. So good, better versus prosperous. To make urban areas better, you can say to ensure more prosperous urban communities. Now, these are the words that you all should keep in mind. And use ensure instead of make, to make urban areas safer, to ensure safer urban communities, to ensure safer urban communities. So that's another one. So ensure urban, to ensure safer urban communities. Then need versus essential. It is needed to take action. It is essential to take action. So instead of needed, you can use the word essential. Fine. So guys, can you do this task then? Can you choose the correct option? The one which is the most appropriate to complete this sentence. Addressing the of higher crime rates is crucial for urban safety. Addressing the problem, addressing the matter, addressing the situation, or addressing the issue. What do you think? I want everyone to get involved. Type quickly. Don't take much time. Should not take much time. Uh-huh. Okay. Is it B? Is it A? Is it C or D? So I think everyone would agree that the correct answer here is well done. Well done. So it is B, right? It's B. So the most formal approach, because when you write an essay, you need to use more formal words. One more. Can you do this one then? A reason for increased crime is economic disparity. A big reason, a large reason, a significant reason, a huge reason. Which is better? A huge reason for increased crime is economic disparity. A big reason, a large reason, a significant reason. What do you think? Mm-hmm. We learned, right, what kind of formal words we should use. So definitely, I think it should be a significant reason, a significant reason. Fine. So guys, you see, you cannot just write down the words. You should also create your own examples if you want to achieve a very high score. So like I mentioned, these are the common challenges students have. They often miss essential skills. They lack effective practice. And, they become a bit disorganized with their preparation. Writing is the most challenging, no doubt in that. But at the same time, you cannot just prepare for this exam being disorganized. So that's why I always say if you want to achieve a very high score, effective preparation involves gradually acquiring skills. It's a gradual process. It's not an overnight thing. You need to learn things gradually if you want to work your way towards achieving a very high score. So That's why, guys, in our IELTS expert course, we have two stages. Stage one, foundations and essential skills. Stage two, practice and flexibility. If you remember, today I introduced some words, but how many words do you remember now? The only way you can remember is to create your own examples. Number one. Number two, say it loud. Say it loud, make it meaningful. The same goes with our thoughts, because if we keep on thinking about problems and if we keep on saying, I have problems, that's how we would react. That's how we would respond. But if you say positive things and if you say it loud, if you make it meaningful, right, your thoughts would change. So I would ask you to have the same approach here. That would be the most useful approach. Then, guys, now let's try to understand our expert program. And those who are interested, they can enroll for a free consultation. So remember, guys, our expert course is actually for 12 weeks. So if you plan to take the exam in 3 months, in 2.5 months, it's ideal. So stage one, overview, listening and reading, approach every question, start with simple tasks. Then for writing, guys, you will learn how to use linkers because that's important for cohesion, how to structure paragraphs, how to make your writing style formal, and how to brainstorm ideas, and how to write proper paragraphs, starting from introduction to supporting paragraphs, and then, of course, a nice conclusion. Then, when it comes to speaking, we also see that quite often students struggle with tenses. They speak, but they don't use tenses appropriately. Then they don't use linkers properly. Then they don't use complex structures. They have no clue. So quite often when we speak, we tend to use the usual conjunctions like but, so, and. And that is not going to impress us at the exam. And these are the reasons why students, they fail to achieve the required score and they end up taking the exam not once, not twice, but there are students who end up taking the exam 5 to 7 times. And even in Sri Lanka now, I think the exam is around 75,000 rupees. So imagine taking the IELTS exam 5 times, how much it will cost. But it doesn't mean that the exam is difficult. It's just we focus on the wrong things and we fail to achieve the required score. So that's why we have this expert course. We have 2 stages. First stage is going to be it's going to be for 5 weeks, and we teach you all the essential things. In the second stage, guys, we focus on exam practice questions. So for listening and reading, we will teach you how to approach the exam practice questions after teaching everything, all the essential skills in stage 1. And for writing, only in stage 2, we'll focus on all the essay types, how to write an introduction, how to write supporting paragraphs, how to write a very good conclusion. And for speaking, guys, we will focus on all the exam speaking topics. But at this stage, at this point, you'll be able to use all those skills like using complex structures, using linkers, organizing your ideas, connecting your ideas, and developing ideas appropriately related to the question. So that's why it's proven to be extremely effective. So the expert course is now going on a special offer. It's going to be 28,000 Sri Lankan rupees. Usually with the discount, it's 32, but it's going to be valid for 2 days, guys. So if you're really planning to achieve a very high score, if you're looking for effective preparation, I would ask y'all not to doubt us at all, because we are the only organization in Sri Lanka. We provide more lessons for the price we offer. You'll be having lessons 3 times a week, once a week listening and reading, once a week speaking, once a week you will have writing. And also, guys, you will have access to our platform, and there are 267 lessons, and you'll also have a personal trainer who will be answering your questions. They'll check your essays, and they'll provide feedback based on the marking criteria as well. So we have a wonderful team. So I would like to introduce Olga, our academic director, who is specialized in writing. We have Diana, who is CELTA certified, and she's specialized in speaking and writing as well. We have Tahmuraz, who is actually a PhD holder, and he is a TEFL certified, and he's specialized in speaking. Then we have Yana, who will be working with you on the platform, and she'll be checking your essays. And I think Yana is with us today as well. So, guys, those who are looking for an intense program, maybe you have a strict deadline, maybe you have already taken IELTS, and you want to kind of brush up certain key areas, I would highly recommend our IELTS Express course. The Express program is going to be for 5 weeks. So it's very good for those who have a good level and those who have already taken the exam. So the difference between Expert and Express would be, in the Expert program, we will focus on grammar and all the essential skills, whereas in the Express program, it's more exam focused. So listening and reading, we will teach you how to approach all the question types, but based on exam question papers. Writing, we will teach you all the essay types, the structure, and how you should develop your paragraphs, and certain tips which would be useful, but we don't go into all the grammar details. That's something that we cannot do within 5 weeks. But the program has proven to be extremely effective with those who have a good level, and I've seen students have achieved remarkable results with our Express course as well. So those who are looking for a comprehensive preparation from the beginning, and if you want to achieve a very high score, I would invite you all to join our IELTS Expert course. So we are starting our Expert course next week. One group will be Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and the first lesson will be on Wednesday. Another group will be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and the first lesson will be on Thursday. And the Express course, guys, it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm starting that group on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So those who are interested, please let us know. So, guys, the course is on a special offer. I'll show you that a bit later. And also, when it comes to Masterclass Online, we provide feedback based on the marking criteria. So this is how we check essays, and we tell them how they should improve based on the marking criteria. And as you can see, quite often our students, they achieve very high scores. This is one of my students from the UAE who achieved 7.5 in writing. And as you can see, I trained him to work on his writing. So you see, he achieved a remarkable score after preparing with us. Then we've had some very good results. This is Kanishka, all the way from Sri Lanka, who achieved an 8 after our IELTS Expert course. Then I also want to introduce Sharvanta, who achieved a 7.5 overall. And as you can see, Sharvanta achieved 8.5 for listening, 7 for reading, 7.5 for writing, and 7.5 overall. So guys, these are our courses. If you're interested in our IELTS Expert course, it's going at 28,000 rupees. Express course is going at 18,000 rupees. And if you want to only brush up your writing skills, if you want to get 16 essays checked, please join our writing course. But the structure is a bit different. Either you can join a 1-month program for writing, where lessons will be conducted twice a week, or you can join the 2-month program where lessons will be conducted once a week. Now, those who are interested, guys, you can actually leave your details. So you can click the link below and sign up for a free consultation and get to know more about our program. So if you're interested to know more about our programs, you can sign up for a free consultation, and our consultant will contact you and would guide you through the process. So once again, remember, it's 28,000, and you can pay in 2 installments for the Expert and the Express. But for the writing course, we don't have an installment option, but we do have an installment option for the Expert course and also for the Express course. So guys, once again, remember that we are starting our groups next week. We have done phenomenally well in Sri Lanka because, our students are really grateful with the way we have been preparing them. So if you want to achieve your required score, because I know quite often students, more than buying tickets, more than finding accommodation in a foreign country, they spend a lot on IELTS. Can you imagine that? They end up taking the exam 4 to 5 times. They spend money on that. They spend money on a tutor. They spend money on many classes. We, as an organization, we have a very strict policy. Our students, they only pay once, and we always try to support them additionally, free of charge, based on the requirement. Because, in all our programs, we have the mock exam. And after the mock exam, we try to assess their progress. And let's say that they didn't achieve their required score in a particular section. We continue supporting them free of charge as well, guys. So these are the reviews. So as you can see, you can find them on our Facebook page as well. So now, do you have questions related to IELTS writing or IELTS in general? So I can take a few questions. If not, guys, that's it for today. So please let me know. Okay. Okay, guys. So I hope you found this session useful. If you did, it's great. And always remember that when it comes to writing, never learn uh, don't try to follow a template. That's actually an important part. Because there's a question, do you prepare? Yes, we do. So it's not that's a good question, by the way. So of course, we divide the groups. So academic writing, we teach them how to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, maps, and processes. Not only that, we also have these lessons on the platform with interactive tasks, and all these tasks will be checked by a certified IELTS trainer. And for general IELTS, we will teach them how to write letters like formal, semi-formal, and informal letters. You see, so that will be done as well. Yeah. So if you have questions, guys, please let me know. But before that, I also want to mention that never try to follow a template because that is not going to help the cause with writing. Because, 2 years ago, there was a research, and based on that, it was proven that quite often students, they struggle because they follow a template. Because, when they sit at the exam and look at the exam question, they struggle because they don't know how to uh, adapt that to a template. So it doesn't work like that. So think about your own approach, understand the guidelines, the requirements that would be useful. Yes, Salim, yes. I mean, if you're referring to can I prepare? Yes, you do need to know the approach to different types of essays. But if you're referring to us, we do teach. So, like I said, we focus on all types. So, reason solution, opinion, discussion, and two-question essays. So, we have live lessons, and it's rather interactive. So, it's not like, how I did today, because I just want to make sure that I can give enough information for y'all to have a rough idea. But usually, we go quite easy. We focus on all the details, and that has proven to be rather effective as well. Any more questions, guys, related to IELTS, not just writing? By the way, if you know that nowadays the computer delivered test is becoming really popular and also in Sri Lanka. So I would highly recommend the computer delivered test because in case you don't achieve your required score for a particular section, let's say writing, let's hope it's not going to be like that. You can repeat only that section. So that's useful. Yes, for sure. For sure. We have a practice for speaking as well. So, like I said, once a week we have listening and reading. Once a week we have speaking. And as a policy, we have mini groups. You can ask our consultant to send you some of our speaking lessons to see how we conduct. So we make sure every student gets an opportunity to speak, and we provide feedback. So we don't put them into some breakout rooms all the time. So the first round, we listen to all our students and we understand how each and every student is progressing, guys. So we will definitely make sure that you improve your speaking skills. Yeah, because that's a good question. You cannot teach speaking in a mass class, right? Because that's the biggest issue we have in many Asian countries. So the tutor does not focus much on each and every student. IELTS is a test based on language, English, and it's a skill. And in order to improve a particular skill, you need proper feedback. So good that you asked that question. Yes, we do. We do. Mm-hmm. So once again, I said, go for the computer delivered test, visit IELTS.org. They have this trial option. You can try it out. And if you find the computer delivered test comfortable, go for it because it's cheaper than the paper based test. And there are more benefits than the paper based test as well. Fine. So, guys, I think no more questions. I really enjoyed teaching you all. I hope that you found this session useful. I'm really looking forward to teaching you all next week. So remember, on Wednesday, I'm starting my IELTS Express course. So Wednesday will be our speaking lesson. And then on Thursday, we are starting our IELTS expert course. And actually, it'll also be our first speaking lesson for the IELTS expert course. It's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So those who want to enroll or those who want to find out more about our programs, and also maybe if you want us to assess your level, please enroll, leave your details. So we will encourage you all to take a grammar test, and we will try to see where you stand and which program would be effective. So once again, guys, thank you very much for your time. I wish you guys all the very best and wish you the highest score in IELTS. So until I see you guys again, have a great evening. Take care. Goodbye.